Okay. Laurie Weaver, welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Good to see you again. We are going to talk today about your not-for-profit. As we talked off camera, not-for-profit sounds almost not the right descriptor.
Yeah, it's a little deceptive because we aren't really a not-for-profit. We aren't the ones in the trenches doing the hard work, which, we give our not-for-profits the credit for that. We are a collective giving organization.
Yes.
Of women. That
Impact Central Illinois.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we take the funds given by our membership and we vote on grants. Then those grants go to the not-for-profits.
And so let's dive back to when it first started and when you first had this idea. This was how many years ago?
2019, I went to my niece's wedding. It was a destination wedding. I met my sister-in-law, Shelley Weaver. I met her childhood friend, Rebecca Powers from Austin, Texas. And one morning at breakfast, just happened to ask, we call her Reb. I asked her what she does with her time in Austin, and she proceeded to tell me about Impact Austin, a collective giving organization for women that she started, I don't remember now, 20-some years ago now. She set out to find 100 women that would each contribute $1,000 so that they could give away one high-impact grant to a worthy not-for-profit in Central Texas. By the time I met Reb, Impact Austin was giving away 4 or 5 high-impact $100,000 grants because their membership had grown to, at that time, close to 500 women.
Wow.
So I was impressed. So I came home from that wedding and had lots of conversations with my husband, came home, called my sister-in-law, and I said, I think we can do this. I don't think we have to find 100 women. I think if we find 10 women that can find 10 women, I could get my head around that. And so she was on board. She had walked alongside Reb as her friend watching Impact Austin grow. So Shelley knew all about the journey Reb had been on. So she was with me from day one. We went, started putting together our founding board, recruited that first year 130 women, and were able to give away a $130,000 grant our first year.
So from that moment to the year end, was it kind of like a blur? I mean, 2019 was like pandemic had just started.
Yes.
So what month in 2019 was this all?
So 2019 is when I went to the wedding. I learned about Impact Austin. Then that first year we were really organizing, putting our board together, coming up with grant guidelines. It wasn't until 2020, I think, that we, I have a timeline somewhere, that we put together, let's see, our very first grant was awarded in 2020. So it was right in the thick of COVID.
Yeah.
So that whole first grant cycle, we were virtual. We did all of our meetings with the not-for-profits, all the interviews and stuff. The grant review committees met virtually. So that was a challenge, but very memorable.
Memorable. It seems like that time was like a time capsule, 2019 to 2021. Really, like it was such a strange, I mean, if we think about walking around outside with masks on or all these strange things, it feels like that just went so fast and we forgot about it.
Yeah,
Surreal is the right word.
It's just like, a dream.
Yeah, we were doing jobs and some people requested us to have, masks on. It was a bizarre time.
Yeah.
But that was also when we built our company as well. And so remembering that time period, it was like, I feel like it led to this broad brush idea that anything's possible, that we can change things. People left their jobs, started new companies. And so did that kind of play into it? Was the pandemic I guess you guys started it before the pandemic, but even during,
and actually I think the wedding was in 2018 because it took us a while, just to develop our guidelines and to recruit members. And so really that whole year of 2019, I think we were recruiting members and then able to give away our first grant in 2020. And it was kind of a bonding experience though, because, we were so proud of ourselves, I guess, that we did it regardless of the pandemic, that we, our first annual meeting where we award the grant, we took around to all 130 members what we called a party in a bag. we gave them a little bottle of champagne and a cookie and notepad or whatever. And we just said, dial in, because we had this virtual meeting, cast your vote and be part of it from home. Yeah. So, but it worked.
And so who is your target woman to join the organization? Are you looking for women who already have experience in some of these kinds of things, or is it just women who just want to help?
No, and we have a wide variety of women. Some women are definitely involved in not-for-profits and have some grant writing experience or grant review experience, but for the most part, there are no requirements. And even, I almost said no age requirement, but there kind of is, because we have a junior membership, and that's for 14 to 22-year-olds, and they contribute a reduced rate, but they get to vote just like any voting member. But as far as women's backgrounds and stuff, we have a wide variety. We have a lot of large representation from Caterpillar. We have a large representation from all of the Tri-County communities. But yeah, there's no requirements other than you have to be a woman and you have to contribute $1,100 every giving year.
Gotcha.
And then 1,000 of that goes directly towards a grant, and 100 goes towards administration fees, paying for our portal, marketing, events,
more stuff
like that.
I've been paying attention to studies in just the United States and culture in general, and drinking is down substantially over the past 2 decades. So only 54% of Americans now drink alcohol, on a somewhat routine basis, not like every week, but as a social thing.
Yeah.
And what they're tying that back to is that Americans are not socializing as much. So people aren't getting together in groups. People aren't seeing each other as much in person. It's mostly from home and seeing through the internet or text. And so does this give an opportunity for women to get together and do something together?
Yeah, for sure.
Outside of just their family.
Yeah. Well, my first thought on that is I guess that's good that they're not sitting at home drinking. Because you just heard so many sad stories about during COVID when women, or not just women, but people were home by themselves and indulging too much. So that's cool. I'm sorry, what was your question?
Yeah. Does this organization give an opportunity for women to come together?
Yeah.
Not only for the fact of raising money for giving and giving grants, but just to get together. It's got to be an important piece of this.
Well, and the cool thing is, I enjoy being a woman. I like talking about girl things. I like talking about relationships and exercise and beauty products and whatever, health tips, recipes, kids. I love all that. But this is just a rich dimension to women's friendships, where we are pushing up our sleeves, looking at not-for-profit organizations, learning about what they're doing in the community, and then collectively decide, seeing how we can play a part and how we can be involved in that.
Yes.
And so it's really a rich aspect to friendships, and something different than just normal girl talk.
Yes. And so give us a highlight of the first year. Who did you give the money to, and how did that impact the organization?
Yep. So the first year we had 130 members, and we were able to give away we gave away one grant of $130,000 to Children's Home. I almost said Youth Farm, but it was Children's Home, and they used the funds to refurbish the cottages at their Youth Farm campus.
Yes. Have you been back to that project after the renovation and everything?
Yeah, we did. We went back shortly after, in the midst of COVID with masks on, and we got to see the furniture and just the rooms that, a lot of these kids have never had a room of their own.
Yes.
And there's different aspects to it that you don't think about, like having really durable furniture that you can't bust a chair over, on the floor and take a piece of it and use it for a weapon. These are, just really solid, well-built, non-destructible furniture that they need in a facility like that.
So during this process, you're talking to the, I guess, in between when you started the organization, did you have Children's Home in mind when you first gave the grant? This was after the fact. So then after you find out you're going to award the money, are you going to them and saying, or are you doing this during the interview process? What are you going to use the money for?
Yes.
What's the timeline of the process? How are you going to hold people accountable, et cetera?
Exactly. Okay, so every application comes from a not-for-profit, and they have to specify a clear program or project that they're going to use the money for.
Yeah.
which is kind of a cool aspect because a lot of times you would donate money to an organization and you really have no idea where that went, if it went to upgrade the air conditioning or repave the parking lot. And all of those things are good and valuable, right? But it's just there's something special about knowing that this program or project would probably not have occurred if we hadn't given the money. So you're voting not only for an organization that has proven itself to be capable, but you're also voting on that specific program or project that they have convinced you is needed in the community.
Got it. And so that's all taken into account when you actually vote to see. And so is it just a majority vote for one project and that's what passes? Okay.
Yep.
Now
Every woman gets one vote.
Yes.
Which is I think one thing that sets us apart, because the decision's not made by the board of directors or a grant review committee. Every woman gets a vote. Now, the grant review committees do review all the applications. Every woman has an opportunity, every member has an opportunity to sit on a grant review committee.
Sure.
And if they do, then they will bump forward. It's a process of elimination. If you're looking at 15 applicants, that group of women that are sitting around a table start to eliminate and filter out the ones that maybe aren't quite ready or duplications of something that's already being done, and they move forward till the end. At the annual meeting, there's 2 remaining not-for-profits in each of our 3 categories that we look at, and then the full membership votes on those 3.
Now, tell me a story about somebody who joined the organization, didn't have any background in these kinds of things, but then it's become like a cornerstone piece to the organization and how you guys operate.
Oh, I think almost every woman who, right now our current grant review committee chair, our grant chair, Stacy Delvecchio, she was an engineer at Caterpillar. And when she became a member, most of us had never done anything like this before.
Right.
And she just is curious. She asks great questions, and she just, gradually understood the process after serving on several grant review committees, worked her way up in leadership, became a grant review chair, and now she's over that whole committee.
That's fantastic.
But I think, there are a lot of women who don't choose to go into leadership like that. But just the longer you sit on a chair, the longer you sit on a grant review committee, the more you understand the guidelines that we're looking for and the process. And then we have, so through all that, there's some really valuable members that sit on those committees.
That's I think an under shouted out skill to do something that you've never done before. And then after you sink your teeth in, just to kind of learn and grow through that process. I think that's life. But having these small examples teaches you that anything is possible, and that most people can put their minds to things and get far more work done than they think they could have. Right?
And Shelley and I, neither one of us had any grant review experience.
Exactly.
We didn't. When we started this, we had Impact Austin and Impact Grants Chicago that were willing to be mentors for us. So we weren't creating the wheel. We were learning from their experiences, and but we had never done anything like this before. We're pretty much out of our comfort zone, but just asking questions and figuring it out along the way. And most not-for-profits, all of the not-for-profits, have been so gracious about educating us on what they do, and then you can convey that to your membership and let them make an informed decision.
So fast forward to year 2. Year 1 closes. It's like, okay, if you do it once, you can do it 10 times. Your year 2, what's the strategy? How many members did it grow to? Talk me through that year.
Yep. Okay. So I actually have a cheat sheet in front of me. So year 2, we gave away 2 grants of $102,500.
So at this time, it had grown to over 200 members.
It had. So what happens is as our membership fluctuates, however many members we have determines how many grants we can give away.
Right.
And then in the 3rd year,
because you guys aren't accepting outside donation to the organization, we can sponsor a member
Yeah,
right?
and we'll take
Or
any
money.
any contribution. Yeah, we will.
If you have money,
we'll
take
gladly
it.
take your money.
Yes.
And we have members that the fee is $1,100, but we have members that say, you know what, I believe in what you're doing. I would like to kick in an extra 100 or 500 or whatever.
Sure.
So anyway, once we collect that money, and then we invest the money because we hold on to membership fees for a period of time before we actually give it away.
Makes sense.
So we have some interest that's earned there, and then we're able to give away that chunk that's left.
Gotcha.
In the third year, we had members saying that they would like to see us give some money to a smaller not-for-profit, and so we added what we call our Inspire grant, which is a smaller sum of money. So I think one year it was 25, another year it was 20. This past year it was 25. One year we were able to give away 2 of those. Then by the third or fourth year, we were able to give away 3 big grants. And then the next year, maybe 3 big grants and 1 small grant. It just fluctuates depending on our membership.
But it's one of those things where you can kind of, once you're in this space, people are probably contacting you as well, pitching you their idea to try to encourage you to donate to their fund or their organization.
Yeah.
So you're tying in both these things where you're recruiting members, obviously, but you're also finding out more needs in the community that you didn't know before.
Right. Yeah. So every not-for-profit, then they have to go through the application process.
Got it.
So, they might reach out to one of us, on the board and just ask some questions. But the guidelines are all on the website, impactcentralillinois.org. And it's pretty well, it's pretty clear if you qualify or not. You have to be a 501c3.
Yes.
You have to be in the Tri-County community, or you have to serve the Tri-County community. You can be a larger national organization, like CASA was one of our recipients.
Yes.
I think Boy Scouts has applied, but the money has to stay local in the Tri-County.
I danced in the...
CASA. Yeah. Awesome.
Back in 2021, I think it was, or 2021, and I had a tremendous time.
Yeah, my husband did that. So you guys are way braver than I am, but I had a blast watching him go through the process, and it was
a lot of work to. I'm not a dancer, but just to I practiced, I think, once or twice a week, every week for 10 weeks or something.
You're not about to put it out there and not know what you're look like a fool.
Remembering steps and going through the process. But CASA is a fantastic organization that really helps out Central Illinois people.
Yep.
And
oh my gosh, such a need.
So after you started the organization, are you tied into larger, like, take for instance, what's the place downtown? The
Dream Center.
Dream Center, right? You're probably tied into more foundations or organizations that are not for profits that these people now that you didn't previously.
Yeah. I think anybody that sits on a grant review committee feels some personal ownership in the organizations. They've learned about them. If they make it through to the site visit part of our evaluation process, they've been to the facilities. It's one thing to read about something in paper, like Dream Center now has an indoor playground because of Impact Central Illinois. And you can know what Dream Center does and kind of have an idea, but until you go there and you see the apartments and you see where the after-school program is held, and then you can see where they want to put this playground, and then you can watch it evolve.
Yes.
I hope that all of our members, as they drive through Peoria now, because I think there are 16 grants that we've given away, that we've awarded. Maybe more than that. No, more than that, because there's 20 grants that we've awarded now, including this past year. So you can't, as you drive through Peoria, you can say, oh, see that playground? That wouldn't have been here because of us. See that springboard kitchen in the near North Valley? That wouldn't have been here because of us.
That's right.
And that's exciting to think that we have been able to make
an impact,
specific impact in different areas, transformational impact.
So Impact, is that a national organization, or is this on its own? You're just taking the wheel and kind of recreating it here.
Yeah, we just recreated it. Okay. I do think that there are some collective giving organizations that are part of a bigger group, but we're not. We're just
yourself
on our own.
So tell me about your relationship with Shelley. And how that's evolved over this time. I'm sure you've gotten closer over these last 5 years running the organization together. Tell me about that.
Yeah, she's become my sidekick. So Shelley is my sister-in-law. We married brothers. And like I said, it was at my niece's wedding when I met Shelley's good friend Reb from Austin. And from the minute I came home and called her, I told her, it's like she was waiting for me to say, let's do this. So we became, really tight because we were both really vulnerable and putting it out there together.
I bet.
And we've laughed. I can't really say that we've cried, but we've definitely worried and prayed and grown together as we pursued this.
Are you proud of the last 5 years of what we've accomplished?
Yeah, I feel really proud. I feel proud, but it because it is a collective group. Mm-hmm. I'm not proud of me. I'm proud of the women of impact. It's so much. Yeah, it is a wheel. It's like different spokes of the wheel. Mm-hmm. And if we didn't have, somebody addressing the grant side, somebody marketing so that we could recruit members, mm-hmm. somebody in charge of membership so that we could host gatherings to spread the word about what we were doing, mm-hmm. Somebody in charge of our events because we have 3 big events a year.
Yes.
I know I'm leaving someone out, but if we didn't have, now we have a technology chair, if we didn't have someone that was responsible for every spoke on that wheel, it wouldn't have turned. It wasn't about Shelley and I. We just kind of started building it.
Yeah. That's got to be fun to watch over time because seeing how many spots you have, and I mean, I'm sure you're imagining these women as you speak about them, but when you first started this back in 2018 or 19, mm-hmm. it's like you had none of that. So it's truly from nothing to something. And then going into these places and seeing where the money's been impacted, it's got to be a breath of just fresh air and an accomplishment to say that was because of us. Yeah.
It is cool. And I say we didn't have anything, but we did have a map. Mm-hmm. I have to give Reb and the Women of Impact Austin a lot of credit, and some really specific individuals that helped us in Chicago because they were willing to say, we've done this legwork. Mm-hmm. You don't have to create the wheel and start from step one. Mm-hmm. We'll share with you everything we know. Yes. And that was huge.
When I go to like family parties or something, I'll kind of survey the room, and my wife and I host things at our house. But if you watch the women in a room gather for a party, mm-hmm. There's a lot that goes into a party, even for just 20 people. Mm-hmm. There's just the organization, the food, and mm-hmm. where everybody's going to sit. And women are consciously aware of pretty much everything that's happening in the room, mm-hmm. where men kind of show up and they're there.
Yeah, they're a guest.
But that's just kind of, I think, how we're built in a lot of ways. And women are very conscious of things that are happening around them. So I can imagine when you get hundreds of women in a room mm-hmm. and say we have problems in the area, mm-hmm. wheels start to turn and conversations come up organically. Mm-hmm. And then out of that just simple meeting, mm-hmm. stuff starts to move.
Yeah, it does. And I also think that women, and some guys too, but I think that women tend to be blessed with the gift of hospitality.
Yes.
And that's just one thing that over the years, Shelley and I became really aware of, that that we wanted it to be a welcoming environment for all of the women that showed up. And so we just really worked to nurture that so that, because some women join as friends and they are friends of Shelley and mine or friends of a board member. And so they walk into the room and they already know people. But some women don't.
Yes.
They just join because they heard about it and they want to be part of it. Mm-hmm. And so we worked hard at developing just being a really hospitable atmosphere. And hopefully every woman that walks in the room feels like it's her organization.
I can imagine that same thing to be said for the younger women who are, you said 14 to 19?
14 to 22.
14 to 22. Mm-hmm. So the younger women who are still growing up mm-hmm. and aren't aware of these things happening as much mm-hmm. as older people. Mm-hmm. And so how's the relationships with those people? Are you really trying to bring them up mm-hmm. with everybody else to tie them in?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things to talk about, actually, junior membership, because, for a couple of reasons, but we have a couple, my sister included. So my sister's a member. Now her daughter is a member, mm-hmm. and now her granddaughter is a member. So my sister got to sit on a grant review committee this last year with her granddaughter.
Wow.
Which is rich. Because like we said before, I'm sure they talk about all kinds of things at school and sports and, shopping and that. But now this past year, they got to talk about these not-for-profits and what they're trying to do in the community and mm-hmm. Just all that entails. We have another mother, daughter, granddaughter group that are all 3 members, the Zika family. So Lainey is the junior member, and I got to be with her last night at a gathering where she shared about being a junior member. I think she said she's been a member for 4 years.
Wow.
She now is in college and studying theater, but getting a minor in not-for-profit work,
Wow.
which is so awesome because she gives Impact Central Illinois credit for that, because just learning about not-for-profits in our area and growing in that and analyzing applications as they came through and getting to sit on that committee with her grandma.
That's right.
And share that with her grandma. It's just priceless.
It is.
Yeah, really valuable.
It is. Talk through that process of recruiting younger women to the board. I would assume it's mostly relatives of people who have already served, but I'm sure there's other kids maybe who.
Yeah, there are other kids, because there are, like I know that there's one member that sponsored a young girl that she helped through some kind of a social organization. They did it together. My niece, my great niece, who is a member, she we had a sponsorship available, so she recruited a friend to do it with her, because obviously it's more fun to do with friends.
Right.
So there's a wide variety of girls. I kind of forget all the relationships. Another one, is a member, Karen Brennan. She joined, or she's been a founding member, and now this past year, her daughter Blythe was part of it.
Fantastic.
So there is usually a member tie.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's great to have an older, more mature woman who will say, "I'll pick you up. We could do this together."
Yes.
And so that's typically how it evolves, but it doesn't have to.
Doesn't have to. So fast forward to 2025. You had steady growth, I'm sure, just running through the numbers. You guys had about 100 members to start in the first year. You doubled that in the second year. Did it just continue to balloon by 50 or 100 people each year?
I don't have the numbers in front of me of exactly how the increments that it's grown by.
Sure.
But every year it grew until this past year we had, I think, 340 some members.
340.
Yeah.
And you said you have 3 meetings in person every year.
We have 3 meetings for the whole group, for all of the membership that are invited to. So we have, I'll start, I guess, with our annual meeting in June, and that's where all of the members are invited to come and hear the presentations from the finalists and get to meet the finalists we have tables where the not-for-profits can answer questions and they can talk to them. And then all the women hear the presentations. They have a chance to cast their vote. That's the most exciting, because the room is just electric and everybody's worked hard to get to that point.
It's like Shark Tank.
It is. Yeah. So that's the annual meeting, which is the first Tuesday in June. Then in September, coming up this September, I think maybe 17th, we have our town hall. And that's a little bit more of a business meeting where you hear an address from the president and kind of what's going on with the state of impact. And then you also hear from the recipients of the grants that were awarded in June. So those 4 finalists in September will share with our membership, not so much about their programs and projects specifically, but about the organization and what they see as the greatest needs in Central Illinois.
So you guys just had that in June?
No, we have this coming up in September.
Well,
town hall.
Have you already chosen the 4 finalists for September? Okay.
Yep. So in June we voted. We had our 4 finalists. Now in September we'll hear from them and learn from them, because a big part of what we do is try to educate our membership so that they can be more informed philanthropists.
Sure.
And then in November, we'll have a luncheon for all of our members. And that's more inspirational, where we hear from a current member and her story and get inspired, and just fun to get everybody together again. Then starting in January, the application process starts for the not-for-profits. They start to apply, so those grant review committees start to meet,
processing.
And then that all leads up to voting again in June.
Got it.
And then the process starts over.
So this is the first year in September that you will not be speaking to the large group?
Yeah.
How's that feel?
It's good. I'm excited. I mean, I'm happy. It's good. I don't think we have covered this in this conversation yet, but Shelley and I started Impact Central Illinois. I have been the president and vice president for these past 6 years. And now...
President and vice president?
I'm sorry. I was president. Shelley was the vice president. And now we've passed the baton to Amy Stoller is president and Jada Hare is vice president. And we did that because we had capable, talented women that were ready to step forward. And I'm a pretty firm believer in term limits. I just think it's healthy for organizations. Shelley and I aren't going anywhere. We'll still be involved. We'll still be members. And it was just time to pass the baton.
Yes.
To these other gals. So Amy will be given the state of address for Impact this year, and I will get to sit in the audience and cheer her on.
That's tremendous.
So,
This is the first time then.
Yeah.
In 5 years. And what's that process been like of thinking about stepping down? And then did you guys vote on a new president, or was it you and Shelley who chose them? How did that work?
We voted. I think Shelley and I had, definitely had conversations amongst ourselves and with, different board members and different leaders that were coming down the pipe. But then we asked Amy and Jade if they would consider it, and then took it to the board, and the board voted.
Excellent. And these two women have been a part of the organization for many years. And
yep, they're both founding members. And Amy had been our secretary, so just knew all the ins and outs. She'd served on multiple grant review committees. Jada had been I have to think about this, our not-for-profit liaison. So she had the relationship with the not-for-profits, and then she was our membership chair for 3 years, and then now she's our vice president.
What would be your biggest piece of advice to those women as they take over the organization and start this journey going forward? Where would you like to see the organization go in the next 5 years?
I don't know. I just think that I don't think, honestly, they don't need any advice because they've been walking alongside me this whole way. So I think that they have a really good handle on the process. I think that, when Shelley and I started, we set out to find 100 women. And I know that membership is going to ebb and flow. And I think that that's okay. If there's a year that it's not 300 and almost 350 members, just to, continue to make women feel welcome and continue to tweak and fine tune the grant process so that we're being efficient and effective with the dollars that we're responsible for.
Sure.
But yeah, I think that they're off to a really good start.
That's fantastic. The stat for business is only 30+% of businesses survive after 5 years. Roughly 70% of businesses close down. I'm sure the same is probably similar. It's probably similar for not-for-profits or just organizations in general. Once you get in the thick of doing anything, it just it can be monotonous. It can be tough to work through problems and to keep recruitment coming.
Sure.
To really just keep the fire going throughout the organization.
Yeah.
And so, for the women that are taking your place, they have a big mantle to bring because I'm sure these organizations now are counting on Impact to provide them something to work with.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know so much if they're counting on it, but they're hoping there's not very many grants that award the amount of money that we are able to, because like I said, our grants have varied from $100 to I think $118,000 this past year, while in $130 at the beginning. So that's a really sizable contribution for a not-for-profit. I hope that they can continue to do that. And because it fluctuates, if you don't give away 3 big grants and 1 or 2 small, you can give away 2 big ones, or it'll vary every year.
They'll figure it out.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to.
Yeah,
So talk me through what you're still gonna be part of the organization, but handing this off I'm sure is a big time reduction in your schedule. So you now you're a grandmother.
I'm a grandma of 8.
Of 8,
and 5 are in Peoria. My son just got married, so maybe my youngest son just got married, so maybe in time there'll be a few more of those little people to help raise.
Is that where your focus goes for this next chapter of life?
That's one of my focuses.
Yeah.
It's I don't know exactly what comes next. I had a wedding this summer, so that was a good transition. I stepped off of the board of Impact and then spent the summer getting ready for a wedding on in my yard. And so that was fun. And now I do find myself at a place where I'll just be curious to see what God has next for me.
Yes. You seem like a very diplomatic, level-headed person. Oh. And I mean that in the kindest way possible. You seem like you think through things very thoroughly before you make decisions.
I hope so. I hope that by the time, I'm 64 and you don't want to just say yes and overcommit to things that you really aren't going to follow through on.
Yes.
My husband is a very strategic planner. He's really intentional about everything he does. Mm-hmm. So I think that's probably rubbed off on me some in the background.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, final words. Give something to the women who watch this and the people who, I'm sure a lot of the people in the organization are interested to hear your guys' story. And I'm sure they know how you guys started. But just kind of give lasting words of wisdom, Laurie, if you were to pass on something to them as this lives forever on the internet, what you would say.
No pressure. I don't know. I guess I would just say that I'm very aware that in Central Illinois, we have some highly capable not-for-profit organizations that are in the trenches. Mm. They are doing the hard work of serving families, offering education, keeping our community healthy. And if we owe it to them to support them and the work that they do. And the fact of the matter is they can't do what they do without funds. Mm. They can't offer the programs and projects. It takes money. Mm-hmm. And so if we can be a small part of that by granting them the funds so that they can, do their work effectively, what a privilege to be part of that. And to be part of making Central Illinois a safer and healthier place to call home.
That's amazing. I remember when I was in my mid-20s, or my early 20s, I was 20, 21 years old. I went to India and studied there for 4 months and seeing just the absolute destitution and like abject poverty that is over there. And then coming back over to the United States, how blessed I felt was to be able to be born here. Mm-hmm. Only 5% of the world is American. And so just being an American is a privilege and a blessing in and of itself. But in Central Illinois, I traveled to a lot of different places in the country. And every time I came back here, I felt like home. Mm-hmm. Probably in large part that I grew up here. Sure. But also the people are so generous and so kind. And just the culture we've built here, I want to maintain for as long as possible. Mm-hmm. I don't want people to forget that Peoria has been on the map for a long time.
Yep. And has a really solid reputation for being charitable.
Very good.
I mean, there's just a lot of generosity here. And I think that there's a lot of people in our community that feel like that's just the right thing to do.
Agreed.
That's what you do.
I totally agree.
So, yeah.
Peoria has a bright future if we build it.
We all play our part.
That's right. We have to play our part, and we have to actually put in work to do so. Mm-hmm. And being a business owner in this area has been along the same lines as you. It's a service to the community. Mm-hmm. Although we're not a not-for-profit, we are for-profit. It's still the same thing. We are serving the public's needs.
Yeah, and providing jobs and helping to raise up families.
That's right. That's right. It's just as important on that side. Mm-hmm. And at times, when stuff gets really hard, sometimes I want to bury my head in my pillow.
Yeah. Put it over your head.
Oh my gosh. Sometimes I'm sure you've had those moments too, where it's just like, this feels so hard and I don't know what to do. Yeah. But it's worth it in the long run. And I think, I think of things when I'm your age, when I'm 60 and above, when I'm 70 and above, like I want to look back at my life and be proud of it.
Yeah. Know that you made a difference.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And I think that's young people in general. I think a lot of times millennials and Gen Z, we lack the perspective, and maybe that's mostly young generations. We lack perspective on what is really important until we get there. Mm-hmm. And I really don't want to miss out on these key years to live my life in a way that's not fulfilling. Yeah. And so being a business owner, serving the community is something that I really enjoy. Yep. Well, and I can relate to when I see you guys do it.
Yeah.
So
thanks. One more thing I just want to say.
Please. We have as much time.
In regard to membership, just that we also have some sponsorships. So if a woman wants to be part of what we're doing, but she can't afford the $1,100, if you go online to our website, there is a place where you can apply for a sponsorship. Mm-hmm. And we have a lot of generous women who will donate a sponsorship. So if somebody wants to be a part of us and they don't have the money, I just want to make sure that people know that that's an option.
Yes. We are going to be donating a membership to Laurie and the group today. So excited for whoever joins.
Yeah.
You will be required to wear tiger stripes to every meeting.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to seeing where this organization goes. The more that I get to know, because I was reached out by one of the women in your organization, and I had no idea about this. And I think there's a lot more of that people in Peoria don't know.
Yeah. We love to spread the word, to recruit members, but also just to make sure that not-for-profits know what we're doing.
That's right.
And that they can be a part of it and go to our website and find those guidelines.
And the website again was?
ImpactCentralIllinois.org.
Very good. Laurie Weaver, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
It's been a blast getting to know you.
Thanks.
So, thank you.